90% of women prefer this type of penis. What psychology reveals about human attraction. In the world of human attraction, physical preferences often play a role, but the psychology behind those preferences is far more nuanced than most people realize. While size and shape tend to dominate public conversation, especially in media and pornography, the reality is that women's preferences are shaped by a complex interplay of biology, psychology, social norms, and emotional context. The surprising stats. According to multiple studies in evolutionary psychology and human behavior, roughly 90% of women report a preference for a particular type of penis, not necessarily one that's the biggest or longest, but rather one that reflects cleanliness, proportionality, and health. This preference points to something far deeper than surface-level aesthetics, a subconscious desire for signs of genetic fitness and emotional compatibility. What do women really want? Contrary to popular belief, most women do not favor the largest penis possible. In fact, research from institutions like the University of California shows that women generally prefer penises of average length, about 6 to 6.5 inches when erect, with slightly above average girth. However, it's important to note that preferences vary depending on context. For example, a woman may prioritize different traits in a sexual partner than she would in a long-term relationship. Size may carry more weight in a short-term encounter, where visual and physical appeal are more immediate. In long-term partnerships, however, emotional intelligence, attentiveness, and communication often outweigh physical attributes. Psychological factors at play. From a psychological standpoint, female sexual preference is influenced by both biological instincts and social conditioning. Evolutionary theory suggests women may be wired to seek out physical traits that signal good health, fertility, and cleanliness, all of which can be perceived through physical symmetry, proper hygiene, and body care. But beyond biology, emotional safety and connection play a crucial role. Numerous surveys show that women place confidence, emotional presence, and attentiveness above size when evaluating a sexual partner. A man who is in tune with his partner's needs, communicates openly, and builds trust is far more likely to fulfill her than one who merely relies on physical attributes. The cultural lens mass media, including pornography, tends to distort expectations of what's normal or desirable. These portrayals often emphasize exaggerated sizes and performances that create unrealistic standards, especially for younger audiences. In contrast, real-world attraction leans much more on comfort, chemistry, and mutual respect than any one physical trait. Cultural differences also influence what is considered attractive. Some cultures emphasize sensuality, emotional bonding, and patience, whereas others may prioritize visual stimulation. Regardless of the cultural backdrop, the universal truth remains. Sexual satisfaction is multifaceted and not purely anatomical. Communication over anatomy. Perhaps the most overlooked and most powerful factor in female sexual satisfaction is communication. Women who feel heard, respected, emotionally safe, and desired are more likely to enjoy intimate encounters, regardless of physical details. In this light, the penis becomes one part of a larger, more meaningful equation, a symbol of connection, care, and mutual pleasure, rather than the sole source of satisfaction. Open dialogue about needs, boundaries, and desires is often the greatest predictor of long-term sexual compatibility. In summary, while 90% of women may have certain preferences regarding penis type, the factors influencing those preferences go far beyond size. Cleanliness, health, emotional intelligence, communication, and context all matter deeply. For men, understanding this can lead to more fulfilling, respectful, and mutually satisfying relationships, both in and out of the bedroom.